And it says we're live.
It lies.
Yep. Anyway, I'd like to start by reading something kind of presage the rest we're going to discuss, at least at the start today.
You're optimistic.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. And it's about veterans. It's actually something that I got through the military email chain, but it's something to think about. To understand a veteran, you must know we left home as teenagers or in our early 20s for an unknown adventure. We loved our country enough to defend and protect it with our lives. We said goodbye to friends, family, and everything we knew. We learned the basics, and then we scattered to the four winds and far corners of the earth. We found new friends and new family. We became brothers and sisters regardless of color, race, or creed. We had plenty of good times, plenty of bad times. We never got enough sleep. We smoked and drank too much. We picked up both good and bad habits. Yeah, whatever. We worked hard and played harder. We didn't earn a great wage. That I can definitely agree with. We experienced the happiness of mail call and the sadness of missing important events. We didn't know when or even if we were ever going to see home again. We grew up fast, and yet somehow we never grew up. We fought for our freedom as well as the freedom of others. Some of us saw actual combat and some of us didn't. Some of us saw the world and some of us didn't. Some of us dealt with physical warfare. Most, if not all of us, dealt with psychological warfare. We've seen and experienced and dealt with things that we can't fully describe or explain, and not all of our sacrifices were physical. We participated in time-honored ceremonies and rituals with each other, strengthening our bonds and our camaraderie.
Weakening the livers.
We counted on each other to get our jobs done and sometimes to survive at all. We've dealt with victory and tragedy. We've celebrated and mourned. We've lost more than a few along the way. When our adventure was over, some of us went back home, and some of us started somewhere new, and some of us never came home at all. We've told amazing and hilarious stories of our exploits and adventures. Many times we were called liars. We shared an unspoken bond with others that most people don't experience and few will understand. We speak highly of our own branch of service and poke fun at the other branches.
Yes, it should be.
Yep.
Total pirates.
We know, however, that if needed, we will all be there for our brothers and sisters and stand together as one in a heartbeat. Being a veteran is something that has to be earned and can never be taken away. Has no monetary value, but at the same time, it's a priceless gift. People see a veteran and they thank them for their service. When we see each other, we give a little upward head nod or a slight smile, knowing that we have shared and experienced things that most people have not. So for myself and the rest of our veterans out there, I commend and I thank you for all you've done and sacrificed for your country. Try to remember good times and make peace with the bad times. Most importantly, stand tall and proud. You've earned the right to be called a veteran.
Nice.
Well, now the planned part of this afternoon.
Oh, hey, do you want to hear my one and only combat experience in the military?
Okay.
Okay. So I was stationed in Korea, right?
Yeah.
And I was at the Tanashan, which is where the main base for Second ID is.
Okay.
On the other side of Second ID from where we were, the base, it was a hospital, and obviously there were women there because at the time the medics were open up to women, and my roommate was dating a medic from the hospital. And she got drunk one night. They broke up, not so amicably.
Oh boy.
And she got drunk, and I'm assuming I told you because she was acting like it. And she showed up at her barracks at 2 a.m. And I fought her all the way back to her barracks so that Sergeant Powell, my E6, or whoever her E6 was, wouldn't throw her in jail.
Yeah.
And I got the stink eye from the OP or from CQ, and when I got her back to her barracks.
Oh,
What have you been doing to her? I'm like, dude,
The doing has been done to me.
I didn't even have a 12-hour pass. I was literally dude. So here's my one and only combat experience in Korea. I should have gotten the combat pay. I really should have.
Part of the reason I brought that up, we did a brisket cook this weekend at the American Legion as a benefit to try to raise some money. And we had about 45 members there. And this little girl came walking in Saturday morning to get some water since it was warm.
Texas.
And she walked into the middle of an argument between a big black guy, a little Hispanic lady, and a white guy going at each other hammer and tongs. And she stopped and got this deer in the headlights look like,
What if I walked in?
what have yeah.
Did you just call him a?
Yeah, and yes, that was about the time we were getting to that point. Well, the big black guy was retired Navy. The little Hispanic lady's a retired E-8 Army. The white guy was retired Air Force. And it was everybody against the Air Force.
As God intended.
And Carol, one of our other female members, who's a former nurse, came over, put her arm around her and said, just come with me, honey. Just ignore those assholes.
They weren't assholes. They were in the face.
And I'm watching her, and she's walking and looking over like, what am I seeing?
Some of this stuff. And preface this for people who aren't military. If you're a military or former military, you talk all sorts of mad shit about other branches, but nobody else is allowed to.
Because they deserve it.
Oh yeah.
But if you aren't military or former military, you best shut your cake hole.
Yeah.
Because
you know now what's for you.
Yeah. I mean, I give the U.S. Coast Guard and the Marine Corps they get a shining from the puddle pirates and the crayon eaters. But by God, nobody that hasn't been in the military gets to say jack about my squat about the Marines or the Coasties.
Yeah.
What sets me off is when somebody who's former Air Force goes, when I was in basic training.
Yeah.
You were not in basic training.
No.
There's no basic training in the Air Force.
You were in prep school.
Yeah. Yeah. Ken, who is a former Coastie, will be interesting to know. We actually do have 2 Coast Guard members, both of whom are over 6 feet tall.
Of course. That's a requirement to get into the Coast Guard. So you
Yeah.
have to walk to shore with boats.
Yeah, we have to wade the boat out into the stream.
Yeah. Our case says Coastie's the most awesome guys in any service. They never have peacetime work. That is true.
No. Okay, just to give the Coast Guard credit where it's due. Coast Guard's the only service where I've seen a Coastie get on a fucking sub and beat on the hatch until they opened up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jump on.
Yeah. Hey,
Nobody else.
Coastie LE debts are a little different.
Jumped off his boat onto a fleeing
Sub.
Colombian
smuggler-
drug sub. Yeah.
drug sub and start pounding the hatch, demanding that they open up and show him their ID.
Because they weren't going to submerge.
Yeah.
No.
So they were scared shitless.
And Richard does have a good point. Not only the Coast Guard, but any of the rescue people, the Navy rescue crewmen, the Air Force pararescue,
Mhm.
they have to go out. They don't have to come back.
Right.
Well, it's when I was in Galveston watching the U.S. the orange and white boats heading out when the big gray ones were heading in.
Yeah.
Because of the stuff building up in the Gulf.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, aren't you guys going the wrong way?
Yeah.
Nope.
Now, Josh, actually, they do have a float coat, supposedly, when they jump off those boats. It's a Mustang inflatable.
It looks like the flak vest from the Vietnam era.
Yeah. No kidding.
And I'm thinking it's just as effective.
Yeah.
Well, as much iron as that, not just in the shorts, that young man was carrying, I'm not sure that it would have done him much good.
Yeah, no, he was negative point.
Yeah, he was going down.
Joel, some of the new ones are fully submersible to about 10 feet.
That's all they need.
They have
Yeah.
to be. Because I hate to say it, but the puddle pirates are getting good at spotting them, so now they're having to actually get
Yeah.
below the water.
Anyway, what kind of brought this up was an article that a few of us saw this morning from Wired magazine.
Oh my God.
And I will turn it over to Ian for that.
Okay.
And here we go.
According to Wired magazine, I believe on their opinion page, they are on the fainting couch, smelling salts at hand, clutching their pearls, because fan fiction involving Rhodesia, Nazi Germany, or the Confederate South is apparently, and I'm very serious here, a threat to national security.
Yeah.
So, I don't understand how a bunch of
It's not.
absolute crap, Hitler was my love slave fanfics.
It's not the stuff that's glorifying the South or Nazis. It's just if they're in there.
If they're in there, yes.
Yeah.
If you do fanfic, Hitler was my love slave, or any of that crap. And if you look out there, there is a crap ton.
If I wrote fanfic of Obama marching around and kicking Nazi butts, say Goebbels and
That probably wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't know how the logic works. But I don't understand the pearl clutching over, quite frankly, crap fulfillment fantasies.
it's an ostrich reaction, right?
I guess.
We'll bury our head in the sand and they'll go away. 'Cause
Well,
we can't.
Yes, Josh, you're exactly right. A bunch of anti-history, virtual LARPing is somehow a national security.
It's a threat to national security.
Well,
I've read some of that crap unwillingly. And the only thing it's threatening is grammar.
Yeah.
it all goes back to we can't have any history.
No.
Because if we have any actual history, what they're making up will not be true. Whereas if we don't have any history, they can say whatever they want and we can't deny it because
And you're clearly correct. But again, I don't understand how you get worked up. How is this a threat to national? Is there nothing else?
well, they've already used Hitler. They've already used they've already compared everything to Hitler.
Yeah.
Or compared everything to Nazi concentration camps or death camps or compared everything to whatever. So now
Is there
This is
nothing? Nothing else to get your panties in a knot?
well, they've used everything else. So now they're stuck with what else can we say that's really really bad?
Yeah, Sarah Clithrow says, have they never seen the erotica involving Southerners and Nazis? I mean, they bed too. So I guess that would actually classify now
Who
on
wrote?
2 counts.
Okay, no, he was a liberal author too. Somebody who's a big alternate history author.
That's him, Sterling.
Who wrote some fiction where the South won the war, split off, and
Harry
then
Turtledove.
Total love.
and he had what was it, the 4th Alabama SS Division, World War II.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, that would have made their heads go boom.
Is your life so pathetic
Yes.
that you're getting your panties in a bunch over
Mhm.
some badly written self-fulfillment wanking on the
Well,
internet?
Joel makes a good point. He read the piece. It's not actually about fanfic. He's using the term fanfic to refer to all sorts of glorification of Rhodesia, because the one kid in South Carolina that shot the people in the black church said his handle, if you will, was Last Rhodesia.
Yeah, he was some fruit bat.
Yeah, he was a fruit bat, no question. Yeah.
Well,
The
this
term fan fiction is clickbait. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much is. But the idiots out there will jump on that in a heartbeat.
Oh, there they are.
it's a way to group everybody under some and then
Yeah.
and then vilify that group.
Yeah.
So we've just Rhodesians,
Yeah.
think they're rolling a dime.
Yeah.
Today it's people who like Rottweilers.
Yeah.
And everybody who likes Rottweilers is now Hitler.
I wonder if
Well, they've
these,
already done that with a pit bull crowd.
I wonder if these numpties have ever heard of the term Winleys.
Yeah. The next question is, when are they going to go after the furries? Good question.
Listen, I have absolutely no problem with people going after furries just because of how funny it will look.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Getting your butt whipped by some
Here's
guy
this
that's 6
gigantic
foot
green
high.
field, right? It's
Yeah.
acres and acres big. And on one side are all these skinny jean man bun wearing
Neckbeards.
neckbeards. And on the other is row after row of giant squirrel and fox and skunk.
And bulls.
And then all of a sudden somebody blows a trumpet and they all just charge at each other. And you've got squirrels beating on tight jeans. You've got foxes beating on man bun.
And you've got Jim in the corner selling popcorn.
I do the horn.
RK says furries is a cultural appropriation and my cat wants it back. Well, if your cat would stop shedding, that might solve the problem.
And that, no like.
It's not your normal furry, if that makes sense.
Does
It's-
normal and furry actually belong in the same sentence?
It's the ones that took to the Rule 34.
Yeah.
To put it,
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're not going there. And
those are
Jesse
the
says,
furries.
in a very Nazi-esque uniform.
Not yeah.
Nazi squirrels?
Yeah.
Well, they don't strike me as Nazis.
Now, the man bun neckbeards would be wearing the Nazi uniforms.
Yeah, they'd be wearing the brown shirts. They'd wear Antifa.
Yeah.
With the swastika symbol on their armband. I'm just like,
And Nancy Fry says, I feel like I just parachuted into a hot zone with no briefing. Sorry, Nancy.
Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Either that or just flail like hell, one or the other.
And then somebody would launch a wave of cruise passalopes and just wipe out the entire place.
Josh, squirrels are nutsies.
Oh.
They are.
Someone went there. Oh,
Yeah.
someone went there.
Speaking of skinny jeans, there was an interesting interview that I ran across in the news feed yesterday with a petroleum guy who said that skinny jeans are actually made with petroleum because they have to have a little bit of stretch in them.
Oh,
Oh, and cotton doesn't have enough stretch to it.
yeah.
So regular denim, which is 100% cotton,
No stretch.
So all these protesters out there protesting petroleum in their skinny jeans.
There's spandex
Yeah.
enabled skinny jeans.
because otherwise they wouldn't be able to walk, much else run.
Italian fastest squirrels on espresso. No, Richard.
Hammy.
You know what? You guys can blame me for this thread. I started it.
Well-
It's, Sarah comes back with, all right, Black Anne Boleyn on BBC. Oh, that would,
No, it's playing now.
Yeah, it's called.
yeah. It's just,
The former Forgotten Queen or something. Former
Yeah.
Queen something.
I don't know. It's they've got white servants in royalty, in black royalty.
Yeah.
In Victorian England.
actually, RK, that's what this guy was doing, was saying that the skinny jeans wearers should be thanking them for supporting their industry.
That's one thing they're supporting.
Yeah.
Well, no, I take that back. Anybody wears skinny jeans doesn't have much to support.
And Richard goes, eat potatoes, you can combat skinny jeans, Genes. No.
Irish.
Yeah.
What's an Irish 7-course meal?
Yeah.
Potato and a 6-pack?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's that time of year in Texas. You get woke up at 6:30 in the morning to the dulcet roar of the lawnmowers.
Yes, that's too much. Oh, by the way, just as a public service announcement, anybody coming to visit Texas, there's a lot to see here. I recommend the Alamo. I recommend going to DFW. I recommend the trails southwest. But please, don't use all the cold water when you take a shower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Save
Actually-
some for the rest of us.
That's not a lie.
Yeah.
I am at the point now where when I get in the shower, I turn the cold on to full
Yeah,
and add hot water until it's comfortable.
In our 100-something-year-old house, it's cold, and hope you don't get broiled in the shower.
Yeah, there's no,
Because it's copper lines running the house under about 6 inches of dirt. And woo!
and the sun bakes them right up to 100
Yeah.
degrees every
Yeah, it
day.
does.
yeah.
Good Lord. No kidding.
And the parking lottery has now begun. Looking for a place under a tree to park.
Guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Guilty. When I went to the church today, there was a spot about 3/4 of the way out, an empty parking lot with
Yeah.
a tree
And that's
parked
what,
underneath
Yeah.
it, and I walked all
and
over.
some little old lady probably shot me the fingers because you got there first
There were 4 cars in the entire parking lot.
under trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll park 100 yards out to get under that one damn shade
Yep.
tree. Yes.
That's how you know. That's how you know somebody is actually acclimated to Texas.
Yeah.
You are a true Texan if you'll drive through the HEB or United parking lot looking for a tree, no matter
Yeah.
how far from the door it is.
Or you'll sit after finishing grocery shopping in your truck, AC running underneath a tree, debating whether or not you should move because you're going to lose the tree.
Yeah.
I could just walk the groceries home. It's only 12 miles.
Yeah. Kid says in Abilene, it's the gentle tones of Dias Air Force Base destroying old munitions.
Oh,
Yeah. Of course, the whole house shakes when that happens, but
I picked up a habit in North Africa of a bottle of water wrapped in a chamois. If I get in, I'll open the water and pour it on the chamois and wipe the chamois across the steering wheel. That way I don't burn my hands.
yeah. Well, the people out in Arizona and some places out around Phoenix carry oven mitts to drive with.
Yeah. Oh my God. 115 degrees
Yeah.
at 8 in the morning.
Oof.
That's Phoenix for you. Walked out of the hotel, hair burst into flames.
Yeah. And Cedar is learning the joys of living in a metro mess. Just got an email from the electric company saying basically turn the AC down, unplug all things,
Yeah.
and do laundry or wash dishes.
Yeah, section numbers at 78.
Rolling
Bugger.
brown.
Bugger that
Yeah.
for a game of soldiers.
Yeah.
No. Well, ERCOT is experiencing a bounce back from
Yeah.
the winter thing.
Okay.
So ERCOT sent out this saying, hey, you need to turn it down because it's like 11,000 kilowatt hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you don't understand.
Well, they're digging a deeper hole.
You're going to see a spike in heat-related deaths.
Yeah.
And I guess in the DFW Metroplex area now because of this. And
Well,
so next year.
right now it's all voluntary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the house I live in right now is a 1920s Kmart or Sears kit.
Oh, no, trust me. We were there when we blew like 8 feet of
Insulation,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And
But-
it's,
Yeah, but there's none in the walls. And, my thermostat's at, 0 Kelvin just to keep the house at a comfortable living temperature.
Yeah.
and you've got room air ACs too.
And Aaron Cram says, my grandfather had the audacity to die in late June in Phoenix. He was going to hell and taking all of us with him during the funeral. Yeah. That had to
No
be
kidding.
probably the shortest funeral on record.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Summer in Texas, spring lasted for about 8 hours.
No, we had a long spring this year. It was like 3 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had a crap ton of wet. What we usually refer to as the rainy winter season.
Yeah.
And then we had the baking and 100%, 100-degree humidity.
Yeah.
And
Well,
now,
the humidity's actually dropping, so that's a plus.
Finally. Jesus.
for now,
Yeah.
we're fixing to get, center punched by that depression/storm/hurricane forming in the Gulf.
Yeah.
Yay.
When's it going to get here?
Yeah. Who knows?
Figure out what's the worst time next week, and there you go.
Yeah. Ken says ERCOT is like a motorcyclist experiencing the death wobble.
Oh, no kidding.
And Jason's response was, Or God forgot that the wind in central Texas stops during the summer. Yes, it does.
Because it's just too hot
Yeah.
to run.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go, including the wind.
Well, you heard what happened to Itchy Paw, right?
Yeah.
Local big city got a bill for several $1 million.
1.34 million.
Yeah. For them and everybody else. And the city council went, fuck you.
For doing what?
Oh, they're going to have to pay it
From the local power station.
from ERCOT.
From ERCOT during the, this is
Yeah.
their, during the big freeze. They're just now getting the bill.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Cedar said her daughter's got 96% humidity and it's 82% in the Metro West. Thank God ours is a little lower up here.
When did we move to Houston?
Oh, Dave Pasco said humidity was 93% in San Angelo this morning. Damn.
San Angelo should be dry.
Yeah.
Should
They
be.
should be. I mean, there should be like 20% humidity at
Does
best.
San Angelo have Playa Lakes? Because if they got Playa Lakes, those things are full. No?
I don't think so. I just remember when I was flying checks and I'd fly through San Angelo on a route.
Yeah.
It was dry, dry, dry.
Yeah.
This all the rain's been hitting us, been coming to San Angelo. So
Oh, yeah, Richard, I remember that. Thailand in the winter, the hill country temp dropped to the 70s and the Red Cross was handing out blankets because those people didn't know how to deal with it.
No, when the temp drops below 72 in Hawaii, people start freezing to death.
Well, I've seen them in California when it dropped to the 50s with parkas on. I mean, real parkas.
Yeah, that's
God,
more
this is stupid.
that's more California culture than
Yeah.
actual. They saw the North Face ad. They spent the $300 on the parka
Yeah.
that would get them to the top of the Everest, and this is their one and only chance to actually wear it.
That's about the truth.
Every 2 or 3 train cycles at Ranger School during swamp phase in Florida. When it gets down to 50s, they lose one to hypothermia.
Yeah.
So it's it's
Oh yeah, temps in the 40s will kill you.
Yeah.
Temps in the 50s.
Yeah.
You have to be doing something wrong.
it's Ranger School.
Yeah.
They're all doing something wrong. Yeah.
And Nancy chimes in with it's 67 and 54% humidity here. Yeah.
Just sitting out on the porch drinking your lemonade.
Yeah.
That's I tell people I love spring and fall, all 6 days of it
Yeah.
in Texas. I can't stand the winter. I can't stand the summer. Man, I love spring and fall.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another good one, Ken. Rosie Roads. We would go to the beach because it was, above freezing.
Okay.
And we didn't care what the water temp was because it was better in Jacksonville. And the Puerto Ricans, if it was below 75, yeah, you didn't see a single one of them on the
Oh,
beach.
hey, in March when it finally got above 40 degrees in Minnesota, we ran out in shorts because it's
Yeah.
warm.
Well, in Abu Dhabi, we used to go to this pool at this hotel. They would let the expat kids swim in the pool, and it got down to 80 in Abu Dhabi one day. And we showed up and we had a pool to ourselves
Mhm.
because it was too cold to swim.
Yeah. I've seen Icelanders out in 40 degrees with bathing suits.
Because they're nuts.
Well, there's a polar bear club, and yes, they're nuts.
No, this was not the Polar Bear Club.
Yeah, no, I'm
They
saying-
considered that warm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Icelanders have a whole bunch of
Geothermal.
geothermal stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
well,
still nuts. I mean, I'm not saying they're not nuts. I'm just saying
yeah,
they're still nuts.
the Blue Lagoon was beautiful. It was a geothermal pool right outside the base
Mhm.
that actually fed the base. The base had no hot water heaters because it didn't need them.
Not surprised.
You get 190 degrees out of the tap.
Of course, it smells like rotten eggs.
Yeah, minor problem. But you could go to the Blue Lagoon, it's snowing, you get your beers, and you could go into the edge of the pool, and it was about 70. You go out about 3 or 4 feet, and it was about 75. You go out about 10 feet, and it was about 86, 87.
Well, there's a guy with salt and pepper shaker.
Yeah.
I just worry about the guy at the far end chopping the carrots.
Yeah,
selling
carrots.
onions.
Yeah. Yeah. And Cedar says, got above freezing in Alaska, and she was in shorts and a t-shirt. Yep.
I've been in shorts for how long?
Yeah, but you got to remember, by the time it got above freezing, you'd been in parkas and thermals for months.
Yeah.
No kidding.
The
And
same
I
way-
was tired of it.
yeah, and that's why you run out in shirts and t-shirts at
Yeah.
40-degree weather because hey, thank
Felt
God.
good.
Yeah.
Felt good.
In other news, the stupidity is just getting worse and worse with the Zidane Grand Tour.
Oh, the ficus at the G7 conference?
Yes. I am really to the point that I believe he is wearing an earpiece and getting direction.
He's being told exactly what to say and exactly how to say it.
Yeah.
Because these pauses, they're not normal pauses. They're 10, 15 seconds
He's
long.
got dementia. I
Yeah.
mean, it could be either one.
Yeah.
Somebody with dementia has 30-second pauses when they're trying to talk.
Yeah, Josh, Ian's wearing shorts and we've been wearing sunglasses. You're right.
And
And Rondor keeps calling and we have to tell him to stand down.
Yeah, but seriously, I mean, I watched the news conference yesterday. I watched the one today, and he would be talking, and he would stop and look down or look away, and sit there for 5 or 10 seconds, and then go off on a completely different tack than what the rest of the start of the sentence was. It's just
Because his handlers had told him what to say.
Yeah.
And it was different than what he had, what's left of his brain told
Yeah.
him to start with.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nancy. He's been on an earpiece since the debates in 2020.
well,
I mean, there was one picture that pretty much showed an earpiece, and the media did everything they could to deny that. Oh, that's not that. No, not an earpiece. That's just it's a shadow.
Uh-huh.
And they tried to make an earpiece one of the debate
Yeah,
conditions, and his people shot that down.
yeah. Yes, Josh. Ian is the beacons of Gondar. Yes.
And when my freckles link up, y'all are going to be
Yeah.
astounded by the time.
When your freckles link up, it's one of the 7 signs of the apocalypse. Okay?
Yeah. And of course, Camel Toe Harris is not covering herself in glory.
You mean Miss? Oh, I haven't been to Europe either. Ha,
Yeah.
ha, ha, ha. Okay.
Yeah.
Miss giggle every time.
It's not a giggle, it's a cackle.
Cackle.
It's a nervous cackle that is just grating.
I don't think it's a nervous cackle. I think it's her way of avoiding answering a tough question.
Well, allegedly, I've heard this one place and couldn't get verification, so take this with a grain of salt. Apparently, after the president of Guatemala or Mexico asked her point blank,
Guatemala.
what are you going to do about the problem you've caused? And she started giggling.
Yeah.
Apparently, he asked his handlers, is this bitch retarded?
That was the president of Guatemala.
But this administration is so much better than Trump's administration.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, yeah. Because
No
no
more
mean
mean
tweets.
And they are more presidential. That was the thing that drove me nuts.
No. Yeah, but they've proven they're not more presidential.
Wait a minute. They're more presidential?
Yeah, that was, we need to vote for somebody that's, a lot of our friends said this. I want to vote for somebody who's more presidential than Trump.
Yeah, so we got ficus and knee pads.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
That's like,
But they're not more
and
presidential.
I'd look at it and say, well, define presidential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if the only thing we got was Twitter. Great. So now if they can't run the news cycle, Trump ran the news cycle.
Yeah.
If he wanted the news cycle for 24 hours, he tweeted at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And that was it. He had the news locked in for the next 24 hours.
Yep.
These guys,
Cat with a laser. Yeah.
these guys, they can't even get the news to agree on what to say anymore.
No, they can't. And has anybody else heard what India and Twitter are doing?
Yeah.
Twitter is losing its mind. Jack Dorsey, is it Jack Dorsey that runs that steaming crap hole of?
I don't know.
Anyway, India has decided to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, ban Twitter entirely from the country.
Good.
Yeah.
And Twitter's losing its minds because It prevents them
Free
from
speech, free speech.
allowing the masses to indulge in free speech.
Yeah.
It's funny coming from you idiots.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw the girl, the Korean who's been on the news.
I don't want
Okay,
to.
Oh, God,
she
yes.
escaped. She escaped from North Korea to South Korea when she was in her teens,
Whoa.
and she came over here to
Go to college.
Yeah, she went to university here, and she's comparing universities here to North Korea.
Yeah.
Oh, down.
Yeah.
She would know. She grew up in North Korea.
She's saying North Korea makes more sense than the universities here.
Yeah, they get.
She was going to Columbia in New York City.
Well, I have a person
They have more. They have. She said the lack of freedom of speech, the pressure to conform to whatever's being said, is as great at the university she went to,
Yeah.
as it was in North Korea. And she said she learned to keep her mouth shut and toe the party line so that she could get good grades.
Yeah.
So it's not you're.
and the media is running with this.
Well,
Yeah.
she's been on Fox 3 times.
Yeah.
now.
That's the only place she's been. Everybody else is ignoring her.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But it boggles my mind that your grades are not dependent on how well you do the work,
Yeah.
how well you learn the information. It's on whether or not you've learned to parrot the professor's politics.
Yeah.
These days, universities are there to teach you what to think, not how to think.
Yeah.
Right. This is going to go
And that's
great for.
completely backwards.
This is going to go great for all the hard sciences and
Yeah.
engineering
No kidding,
fields.
right?
It's going to kill.
Well,
How many-
it's
how
going to
many-
kill people when these idiots get out there and start designing
Yeah,
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When they get into engineering,
Yeah.
people are gonna die.
Well, we had to build this bridge, but I had to use this guy because it's a black-owned business.
Yeah.
Or it is.
Well,
Oh, you got
the one that collapsed down in Florida.
you have some idiot civil engineer that believes the math is racist and 2 + 2 can equal 5.
Yeah.
How do you want that guy as your civil engineer designing your bridges?
Well, and the one in Florida was specified, had to be designed by a female architect. And it came down. It killed people.
Because they
I don't give a damn about your plumbing.
Yeah.
What I give a damn about is these people that believe.
oh yeah, well no, I mean that's it. For decades, the U.S. led the world in research and new discoveries, and
Yeah.
we have managed to kill that in 20 years.
Yeah.
Because we don't. These guys, even the guys coming out of hard sciences, don't know how to do research or to think independently.
No, they
So
don't.
when so and so says this bridge must be built this way instead of this way, they were like, okay,
Yeah.
and it won't work. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The infamous Tacoma Narrows Bridge.
where
Yeah.
the span they chose was in sync harmonically with the winds blowing down the valley. Nobody, but it's because the state, not
Yeah.
the government, but the state said you will build this bridge here, and you'll build it this way.
Yeah.
And that was back in the
30s. And that motion picture of that bridge collapse is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'm just amazed at how long it
It stood, yes,
yeah, it vibrated
And
the way it does. It was
dancing back and
Yeah.
forth, and it didn't break. And that poor
you know,
guy in the car.
yeah, or the guy walking down the center,
Yeah.
trying to get away from his car.
Yeah.
But because the engineers are like, well, this ain't right, but let's see if we increase our safety factor by another 50%, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, Cedar says they evidently said somewhere that Twitter was a human right.
Yes, guys in the States have said that.
except for Donald Trump.
Right. But you can
Yeah.
block all the conservatives you want because they're
They're not
not human.
they're not
That's
human.
right. They've been othered.
Yeah, Sarah, India is apparently joining Nigeria and Uganda in banning Twitter.
Go.
What's pissing me off most lately is the need the left feels to change all of our holidays to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No kidding.
Because the White House just announced that they're having their bash for the 4th of July is independence from the virus.
yeah,
No, you shitheads. We are celebrating the fact that we founded a country based upon inalienable human rights.
Yep.
And we were the first ones to do it that way. and we were the most successful ones to do it that way. We're not celebrating some bullshit about, oh my God, these, and sorry for the medicals out there, these EMT workers are heroes because they showed up for work every day.
Independence Day is about a frontier nation kicking the dog shit out of one of the premier militaries in the world at the time.
Yep.
We fought tooth and nail, a fight we should have lost.
Yep.
Against the preeminent, if not one of the two preeminent militaries.
No, it was a preeminent sea power at the time.
And land power. It was
Yeah.
one of the land powers.
Yeah.
But
Because we didn't fight much of a naval war. It was well, most of it was land.
yeah, but you got to remember, we were a coastal nation.
But so one of the preeminent land armies with experienced NCOs, experienced officers, and we kicked the snot out of them.
Yep. And we did unfairly because we hid behind trees and shot back.
Damn Skippy.
Well, we didn't hire the professionals.
Actually, the professionals volunteered and came over.
Some of them did. Some of the French
Lafayette.
did. The Hessians were
Yeah.
hired by the Brits.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Brits were using professional soldiers, and we were using guys that were plowing one day,
And shooting the next.
shooting the next, and going back to plowing the day
Yeah.
after that. I mean,
And that's what we're celebrating is the fact this scrappy little bunch of
we're not celebrating the fact that we beat a virus this year. We're not celebrating the fact, and it was like Memorial Day. Well, we need to lump the healthcare workers in.
Yeah.
No, Memorial Day is specifically
in
about
law.
the guys that died serving our country, not the ones
Well,
that managed to go to work every day during a virus.
the
I
guys,
managed to go to work every day during a virus. Do I get a day?
No.
it's for the guys who died serving the country in the armed forces.
Yes.
In the armed
That's in
forces.
law.
Yeah, it's
If you want to celebrate the nurses and doctors who died of COVID during,
get
give them their own day.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get their own day. There are 364 other ones they can choose from.
Yeah.
Knock yourselves out.
This whole Independence Day doesn't need to be about the birth of our country because obviously the 1619 Project proved that the birth of our country is based upon
A
a
lot.
bit of history that they made up on a date that they made up.
When
That's
slavery had been here since day one.
That's one of the things that just, I mean.
Yeah.
And Jim's right.
Technically, slavery wasn't here from day one because a lot of the colonies had,
Oh, no, the slavery was here before the colonies ever got here.
yeah, but a lot of the colonies had provisions that did not recognize slavery
Yeah.
or prohibited slavery.
I know that, you know
Yeah.
that. 1619 doesn't.
It's,
They don't
yeah,
care.
and 1619 based it upon an incident that occurred where a colony out of its own coffers paid off a pirate to free these people, and then to get the money back, they made
Which you
them,
had to do.
yeah, because they didn't have a lot of
The,
money.
the government wasn't there to give them free money.
They just made them indentured servants,
Yeah.
which is not the same thing.
Nope.
No, it's
They
not.
served a period of indenture, and then they were free.
Yeah.
Because they paid back what that colony had to pay to that particular pirate. Oh my God, you people!
Actually, the first slaves here were the Indians enslaving other Indians.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh.
that went on, and it's still going on.
The best story about that I ever heard was Don Cheadle did a family history thing. He found out he was descended from slaves.
Yeah.
The problem was the slaves he were descended from were owned by one of the Five Nations, Cherokees,
Yeah.
the Chiricahuas, and it was well after the end of the Civil War.
Yeah,
That kind of
Oops.
backfired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah.
and Richard Hopkins says, Jim is
Uh-oh.
Jim is slandering the shit when he makes that comparison.
I am.
Yeah.
And people.
Here we
So
go.
these liberals make these outrageous claims,
Oh,
and
Sarah.
nobody fact checks it.
Nope.
They just accept it.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a basis for the next outrageous claim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, well you can't say this isn't true because this is true. Well, no, that wasn't true to begin with.
Well, it's a known fact that lies and bullshit like that making around the world 3 times before truth can even get its pants on.
Was it Stalin said the big lie?
Yeah.
Were you
Well,
screaming
it
the big
was-
lie loud enough? Or?
Yeah.
No, it's Goebbels. I thought if you repeat a lie often enough, it becomes truth.
Yeah, but I think somebody talked about the big lie.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know what?
Sarah says, so y'all are saying that a Twitter troll account from an exiled Nigerian prince might be worth creating.
It was
Sarah.
for Biden. He's still waiting on those.
Yeah.
$20.
Oh yeah.
RK said a goodly portion of those Hessians stayed here and settled. Yes, they
Yeah.
did. Some of them even ended up in Texas.
Yeah. The
Texan German.
the Brits were, when they lost, were less than
Satisfied with the performance of the Russians?
yeah. So they
Dumped
said,
them?
well, we're not giving you a ride back home.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Richard Brown says, hey, Hessian Soldaten, you want a meal in 75 acres?
A lot of that happened a lot.
Yeah.
It did.
Go out there to the frontier. Here's a mule, 75 acres on the frontier where the Indians are,
Yeah.
and they got to go through you before they get to us, and everybody wins, right? Including the Indians.
And David says, I signed a whole stack of documents saying I don't know any Agent Franks. Dave, really?
I watched
God.
I forgot. What might have been British muzzle loaders. I forgot. He's Canadian, but I watched a video where they compared. So the Brits had a like 12-step loading process for for during that era.
Yeah.
And the Hessians had like an 8-step process. So they argued over which was better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care how you break it down, it's still charge, powder, something to pack the
Rammer,
powder,
yeah.
round on top of that, ram it down, cock, finish, cock the flint, and away you go.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many.
Well, you got to
break
prime
down
the pan.
You did. That was the argument. Do you do it first? Do you do it
Yeah.
last? I mean, do you have to save? And it was just,
When it comes
oh my God, people! It's just, the mechanisms were the same no matter where you
Yeah.
got the gun from. But they argued over how many steps there should have been, and I was just like, oh my God, no.
Yeah. Well, it's, the thing is, when you look at it, they were based on masked fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they were taught, once you primed the pan, cocked it, and you brought it up and aimed it, you turned away. So you weren't even looking at what you were shooting. And the accuracy of those smooth bores was questionable at best.
So I did mass
50 to
fire.
100 yards was, you could expect to hit what you're pointing at. Beyond that, if you hit it, you were doing great.
Yeah, but if you've got it up here and aimed and you cock it and you look away, what are you doing with the muzzle?
Doesn't matter.
You might hit the guy next to where you were aiming,
Also,
Which is why, if you're on the other side, you wanted to be
all the way on the right.
Yeah, on the right hand side, because everybody just shifted left.
also aim the pause between aim and fire when you're holding it. How heavy were those things?
They're not light.
They're not light, but you didn't have them at your shoulder that long.
Between aim and fire wasn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because if they were fired by ranks, right?
Yeah.
And if you're firing 3 rounds a minute, you have 3 ranks. You have just enough time to get fully loaded, cocked, and ready to fire, and it was your turn again. So
Yeah. Jason makes a good point. Neither the Hessian nor the Brit loading procedures could compare to the Americans hide behind a wall and shoot 'em method.
yeah, that's because we were using rifles.
Yeah.
We're
Not,
using squirrel guns.
I've actually had the honor of being able to handle and shoot a 1750 real flintlock. And that damn thing was almost 5 feet long.
Oh,
yeah, it's because you wanted long enough so that it was sticking past the rank in front of you.
well, actually, I think you're probably
No,
right.
this was a real Kentucky long rifle.
Yeah, no, it's same deal.
But the front blade on it was silver. And you get that sucker up and it was like, oh my God, okay, it fell down.
That's because silver wouldn't.
Yeah.
Silver wouldn't corrode.
Yeah, but it's like, is that the front sight? Where the hell? That little
Wait,
son of
wait,
a- I
wait,
can't
wait,
even
wait,
see that
what
damn
the hell?
thing.
But yeah, the reason that the Brown Besson rifles up to World War I were as long as they were, because you were still fighting, you were still shooting from ranks.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't black powder require a longer barrel to completely combust?
Yes.
It's slower, but not.
Not bad.
Well, it's slower. It's considerably slower. Gunpowder is considerably
It
slower.
is, but it's the main reason that the rifle barrel was so long was that so that it wasn't back here, it was up here on the right in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. And John says, and also people who had to hit what they were shooting at because they needed to eat. Yes.
Yes.
The Americans shot and actually aimed and looked at what they were shooting.
Because if you missed that deer, you
Yeah.
weren't getting
Or
a
that,
second
or that
chance.
squirrel.
Yeah.
And that was the important part. I read an article one time or a study
Yeah.
shooting squirrels. It was a shooting squirrels because you had a short time hit load motor.
Yeah.
You had to hit a very small target. So if you had to hit a squirrel-sized target, dancing through the branches, hitting a people-sized target, marching in step was a lot
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah. Plus, you need to hit a squirrel in such a way that you still have meat left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You headshotted them or barked them.
Or barking.
Yeah.
Jesse says, oh, and the sneaky green uniforms were a big hit. Yep. It's brown or green. And
Buckskins.
yeah, it just disappeared.
There were units in the British military
Yeah.
that wore buckskins.
Yep.
And
Well,
green,
the
and wore
riflemen-
green.
The riflemen wore green.
Yeah.
They actually issued with rifled muskets. Wore
Sharps
green.
rifles. Yeah.
Yeah.
They wore green.
That was Napoleonic era.
Yeah.
That continued up into the.
It's just that's like during the Civil War you had the standard for the cannon guys for artillery was blue.
Yeah.
Instead of gray.
Well, that's where you get the stripes
Yeah.
and
yeah.
you get the different colors. The Army's the only one I know of that does it with the funky colors inside the cape,
Mhm.
designate what you are, what you were, whatever.
Yellow for cav, red for artillery, blue, baby blue for infantry.
Yeah.
Blue for-
Ken Raven says the longer sight radius didn't hurt either. No.
No, that helped.
Of course, it assumed you could see the front sight.
Well, and the folks that had to shoot a squirrel to feed the family,
Yeah.
would, go back and do something about the sight.
Yeah.
Americans were shooters, much
Yeah.
like the Irish.
Well,
Cedar says the cat is now insisting I play with fetch with her. Nothing like a little interruption here and there.
Yeah, it happens.
the way to get the cat to stop forcing you to play fetch with her is go to the pet store and buy 3 or 4 mice and let them loose in your house.
Oh, actual mice.
Yes, actual mice.
Okay.
No.
Hey, it may not be a perfect plan. It's still a plan.
It's a plant.
It's a
Yeah.
plan, yes.
Cedar's talking about her dad reenacting, and Sarah Singleton says, "Lobster backs are attacking the town again." And Richard says, and this is true, freaking world uniform in Georgia marching to the sea. Yeah, no.
Oh, can you? Because those were all wool uniforms.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, the British Army in South and Central Africa during the Zulu Wars was red wool uniforms.
Yeah.
Holy gods!
How do they did not have entire plumes dropping out?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Heat stroke.
No kidding.
Well, they were red so that they wouldn't show the wounds.
Red, heavy wool. Ugh, bugger that for Mark.
There's a joke there about brown pants, but I'm not going to say
Yeah.
it.
Dave Fasco's answer to you, Jim. Vermin is vermin. And Cedar says, I live in an apartment. Pretty sure it's not my lease.
This is Dallas. You should be able to find them anywhere. Get those little black crickets
Oh yeah,
and let them loose inside.
they're gonna be loose inside whether she wants them to or not.
I know.
So,
The cat will just be going.
nuts.
Yeah.
Cricket
Yeah,
nuts.
RK. My old pilot in the Navy was actually is still a reenactor, and he reenacts with 2nd Virginia. And yes, they are very, very specific about the correct uniforms.
This is why I don't do reenact.
The correct weapons, the whole 9 yards. The
I'm an
shape,
American. I cheat.
shape of the glasses, whole 9 yards. Another friend reenacts as a hospitaler, and she also shoots a uh, black powder rifle. And I'm trying to remember the hospital. She plays one of the Revolutionary War hospitals,
Okay.
but my ex-pilot plays the Civil War side of it. And he was in the Gettysburg. I've actually seen him in the film. But he said, yeah, they were camping out. They were doing the whole 9 yards.
They camp out with the equipment they used back then too.
Yeah.
Which kills me because the camping out is not part of the reenactment.
Yeah.
I know.
But
And he said the cooking sucked.
oh god, yeah, I can believe it. Go
Oh,
there.
no kidding.
If he's using what they actually had, they had
Salt beef.
Yeah.
salt beef and some kind of lard or fat, not necessarily lard.
And not enough water
No, yeah, not enough water
to get the
and,
salt out of the beef.
and, and then they
beans or dried peas.
Yeah.
might have had beans. Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
Dried corn.
you
dried corn.
were issued for the squad.
Yeah.
So one guy would have the beans.
Yeah.
And one guy would have the salt.
You have a chunk of salt beef, which may or may not be mostly fat.
Yeah.
And then everybody would have hardtack.
Ugh.
And you needed the water. You didn't have enough water because all the water went to the hardtack
Yeah.
to make it non-tooth breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hard.
make it soft enough to eat.
And
Yeah.
which meant you didn't have enough water to get all the salt out of the beef.
Uh-huh.
Or if you got the salt out of the beef, you didn't have enough for the hardtack.
I mean, MREs used to lock me up. I can't imagine what
Oh,
those rations used to do. Oh,
I made hardtack once just to see. I actually found a recipe from one of the better hardtack manufacturers on the East Coast because the competition between the Navy and the Army for hardtack was intense
okay.
because they were both using it. It was shelf stable for months and months and months. And I made it, and when it first came out of the oven, it was soft and okay, salty as all hell. But within 24 hours, that stuff was, I mean,
It's a cinder block.
pound and nail rock hard.
And RK says it's hard to find bear grease for period correct pemmican down here. Yeah, that's true. We're not in Alaska. Yeah. And Dave says, and that's assuming the biscuits were not full of, or weren't full of weevils.
Well,
I can
That's the
say
other thing
that.
about hardtack is weevils couldn't do it.
well, the
Yeah.
hardtack the Royal Navy got was infamous for being full of weevils.
Yeah,
And I remember reading a account that said you could spot a Royal Navy sailor
yeah,
in a pub because he'd be tapping the bread with his left hand as he ate, and the tapping would induce the weevils to leave the hardtack,
yeah.
so that by the time he was done eating his bargoo or whatever, he'd
Yeah.
have a weevil-free biscuit to eat.
Yeah, because Sarah Singleton says, even on my period stuff, I cheat. I machine sew it. If someone's getting close enough to see the seams, they better be my husband.
Lord Nelson, Admiral Lord Nelson, was famous for his steward's chicken pie.
Yeah.
And they asked one time how the hell do you get a chicken pie with chickens this good after this long at sea?
Yeah.
And he had his cook or his whatever the hell, his aide would get the next unopened bag of hardtack and a pulley and a cabin boy, and he'd have the cabin boy pulling a pulley to raise and drop the hardtack.
Yeah.
And he'd spend an hour just pop, 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 drop this hardtack on the deck. Then they'd open it and get the hardtack out for the sailors, and the bottom would be a mass of weevils, and they'd turn the chickens loose.
Turkey to the chickens. Oh god, yeah.
And that's why he had these healthy chickens for his famous chicken pie.
And now apparently we're dealing in foodstuffs because Nancy says, who needs bear grease?
So
A pal of mine shoots a bear every year.
we went about 55 minutes this time.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Tasting History YouTube channel made hardtack not too long ago.
See, I've had actual what was claimed to be hardtack once when I was young, and then I've had the crackers in MREs, which are, let's face it, the 20th century version of hardtack.
Yeah, they're not saltines. They're more like
Yeah.
matzo bread.
Yeah.
The crackers in the old brown wrapper MREs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had newer MREs that had hardtack equivalents. It's like pilot. You know what pilot bread is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Only not as good because it's the Army or something.
Yeah, Richard Brown said, Ben's Cookie Factory in Mass used to sell hardtack from Civil War recipes and machinery up until the late 1990s. They stopped because the machinery broke. They couldn't economically repair it.
That's not
I was
surprising.
surprised.
Sarah Singleton, you played in the SCA. You and John need to talk.
I used to-
Wait. What part of the SCA was she in?
I don't know.
Not the weird sex part, right?
No.
The regular, we're going to beat a BW, so that's
Yeah.
the sword part.
I used to take that packet of cracker from the old Brown MRE and I put it on a rock or something, and take my pot and beat on it till it was crumbs.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you leave it in the packet. Okay.
yeah, I'd beat on it with a pot until it made crumbs, and use that to thicken the beef stew or the chili.
No. You took that and the cocoa powder and the sugar, and you made yourself a little brownie.
No, you took the cream or the cocoa powder and the sugar.
Yeah. No, yeah, but you used the
The
crackers.
crackers? I never
Yeah.
used a cracker.
Really? Crackers, cocoa powder, sugar, and creamer, and you make brownies out of it.
Really?
Yes.
I never used the crackers. I used
RK said she actually liked the ration crackers. Girl, you ain't right.
What the
Why
hell?
did they- Okay, so one of the things you're sweating out when you're in combat is salt.
Yeah.
Why do they not salt the crackers in the MREs?
I'm guessing because everything else was salted.
Yeah. Then why,
I don't know.
if everything else was salted, why not have the salt? Because the salted crackers would have been a whole lot nicer.
Yeah.
Than those plain
Yeah.
dry your
those,
mouth out.
Those things were disgusting.
Cedar says her mom and dad got pretty deep into the living history, and her dad actually worked for Old Sturbridge Village and then at the fort at number 4. So no creative anachronisms there. That was all correct.
The guys.
Sarah
guys that-
Singleton says she was doing SCA at Altenwelt,
Okay.
so in Germany.
The guys that run Fort. There's an old Civil
Kingdom
War
of
era
Bikers
fort
and
in
Thugs back in
Minneapolis.
the mid 80s.
It's not Sumter. It's something starts with an S. But they run period correct, and they're very serious about it. And these are park rangers.
I give them props. I think they're insane, but I give them props.
Oh, and now Jonna and Sarah are going back and forth. Ah, yes, Altenwelt and the Belly Dancers.
Do you remember Urso?
Yes,
Urso was in SCA.
that doesn't surprise me.
He wasn't in SCA for the reenactment. He was in SCA for the weird sex.
Yes.
And on that
Yes.
note, folks, we've wasted another hour of your time.
Did you ever reconstitute the dehydrated strawberries or fruit salad?
Tried it once.
Was
Not
any
worth
good?
it.
Not worth it.
Ah, okay, the
It's
one
too
in
much-
Arizona, not the one in Europe.
It's
Never
like-
mind.
You got the peanut butter jelly in the packets. Trying to make peanut butter jelly on the crackers. You end up more jelly on your uniform than you did anywhere else. So.
And Ken Raven apparently also knows about it because he said Altenwelt remains special.
I always clip the corner off and went.
All right,
Jelly
folks.
was straight in the
We'll try this again on Thursday. Thank you very much for listening in and
Y'all be safe.
the comments as always. Y'all make this work. We sure as hell don't for not more than the first 2-3 minutes. Yes.
If you're listening, you need to go to YouTube. Look up Lord Humongous Cooking.
Oh God.
Yes. Friend of ours. Good guy. Maybe half a bubble off a plum.
It's not who I'm thinking it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as embarrassed as he was.
Oh no, you should go to YouTube and look up. It's Atomic Nerds Lord Humongous cooking videos.
Yeah.
He does how to cook with cilantro is the very first one,
Oh, that's hilarious.
and he feels about cilantro like I feel about cilantro.
Because
Yeah.
I read the title and it was Lord Humongous Pilot.
Yes,
That
Josh,
makes-
it's
who's he
Stingray.
flying for?
Yeah, Stingray.
Yeah. All right, folks.
Hi, so
Yeah. Y'all have a good one.
we're going to discuss that on Thursday, at
Oh
least briefly.
God.
So
Yes, he needs a better wardrobe,
we
John.
do
We have
your homework.
Oh God, we have homework now.
Yeah. Just remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty
Y'all
stuff.
be safe, guys.
Y'all be safe.
I'm
See ya.
pretty sure we have not followed any of the podcast rules.
We don't.
Or we actively break them.
We do. And